because if I don't record this thing, it's going to be a problem. Okay. All right. Okay, so it's recording. Let me put the slide share back up so we could get started. All right, once again, let me just say greetings and hello to everyone. Welcome. I'm excited that everyone decided to join for this particular webinar tonight, which is all about content marketing and planning for small business owners. And tonight we're going to cover a lot, and I'm just going to actually jump right in. But before I get into really, talking about this content and everything, I just want to also let you know that there's some worksheets that go along with this particular presentation. And after the webinar tonight, I will be emailing everybody the worksheets that I'm going to be referencing in this particular webinar. All right, so I want to start off with my content marketing story. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Toni Coleman-Brown, and I'm the founder of the Network for Women in Business, and I've been around since, I don't know, I started the Network for Women in Business in 2012. So for 6 years, it's been around, and we host events. It's an online platform. It's an educational platform that helps entrepreneurs, mainly female entrepreneurs, to up-level their business with sales and marketing. And my expertise is really online marketing and social media marketing, and you'll find out more about that as we go through this presentation. But what happened to me is an interesting story, and I'll just tell you this. Every year I host an event called the Small Business Bootcamp for Women. So this year was the 7th annual Small Business Bootcamp for Women, and it was an amazing event. But one of the things that had become clear to me by the time we got to the event, which took place in October of 2018, one of the things that had become pretty clear to me was that I wanted to do something different. And I knew I wanted to do some different things as it related to content, as it related to the things that I have been doing online and how I've been helping a lot of people achieve a certain level of success. And I knew that I wanted to work more on my business and my brand, and I wanted to implement more of the things that I was teaching. Because oftentimes what was happening with me was I had been spending a lot of time, really the past 6 years or so, teaching and interviewing a lot of different female entrepreneurs and bringing a lot of what I believe quality content to the marketplace. But it left little time for me to implement and really scale my business. So by the time I got to the Small Business Bootcamp, which was October, I really was ready for the event to happen and ready for the event to be over, to be quite honest with you, because all I wanted to do was just take a deep dive into my business. So what happened was in September of this year, which was just about a month or so before the boot camp, I went to WordCamp NYC, which is a WordPress conference that they have in various markets. And I encourage you, if you use WordPress for your websites and there's a WordCamp in your area, get to that event because it is a really good event. So I went to WordCamp in September. It was on the 15th and the 16th. And I was so excited. I met a lot of great people, and I knew that it was really time for me to dig in and do a deep dive into my business. So I think somebody raised their hand and somebody may have a question or is. So does somebody have a question? Is anybody having any issues? So Sue, you raised your hand. Did you want to talk? Let me see. I'm sorry guys. Let me just see. Somebody is raising their hand. This is Sue. Let me unmute you. So if you have a question, what you can do, because it looks like you've raised your hand. I don't know if you have a question, and I'm having some issues trying to unmute you. So if you have something that you want to say, let me know. And if you could write it in the chat, that would be great. Okay? All right, so I'm going to keep going. And if you could put it in the chat, I'll be able to answer you a lot better. So basically, I went to WordCamp, and after WordCamp, I decided to take a deep dive into my Google Analytics. And I started noticing some things that was pretty interesting. I started noticing that there were certain things, certain pages on my website that actually was driving a lot of traffic. And the pages on my website that was driving a lot of traffic to the site wasn't what I thought it would be. And that really started getting me to look deeply into my content. And what happened was there was a page on my site, which was the page where I offer 50 ways to market and promote your business online. And that lead capture page is a page that I drive a lot of paid traffic to my website. So I expected that particular page to have the most traffic for the year. And when I did the deep dive into my Google Analytics, one of the things that I noticed was that it did not. It did not have the most traffic. What had the most traffic was actually another page in my website that was getting organic search. And it was because of an article that I had done on why continuous learning is the key to success, where I was ranking #1 on Google for that particular keyword. And that page was the page on my website that was driving all of the traffic to my site, or most of it. And the next highest page was my 50 ways to market and promote your small business on social media. That was the #2. And I knew that one would be a high ranking page for traffic because I did a lot of ads. I ran a lot of ads to that particular page. So it was so shocking to me until I knew that I had to dig deep into my content and really understand what was going on and really understand content marketing and how I could do it better. So let's talk about what content marketing is. Content marketing is basically a marketing strategy that you can use that involves creating and sharing online materials such as videos, blog posts, and social media posts that doesn't explicitly promote your brand, but it's intended to spark interest in your brand and attract your ideal audience. You should know that there are several different types of content that you can create for not just your website, but also you can create the content and post it on social media. There are blog posts, there are email newsletters, there's illustrations, photos, ebooks, white papers, infographics, even a webinar like I'm doing right now is content. And then the slides from this webinar I can put on SlideShare, which is actually now LinkedIn Slides, and I can have it posted there and attract people to my website and attract my ideal audience. Also, there's reports that you can create. There's also a lot of online magazines. You can create one for your business. And there are interactive tools like quizzes that you can create. That's content as well. Plus, you can create checklists. You can create a podcast. You can do virtual telesummits. Also, you can do live streaming like Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives. Now, why do people create content? Some people create content for fun, and it's actually just a hobby for them. It could be their passion, it could be a passion project, and something that they just basically like to do. And just because it's something that they like to do, then they end up, going viral, or they end up turning that passion project into a real big monetization goal. Because you can do something for fun, and before you know it, you've created this big, huge audience that you can later turn around and actually monetize and make money. However, most people create content to increase their visibility and their online presence. Now, why do people share content? Because when you are taking your time to create content, and I have to tell you guys, it is not easy. It is actually pretty hard. It's going to take a lot of work. Let me just say that. And I'm going to share what my experience has been since my online boot camp and since I've been focusing on my content and distribution and what's happened with my traffic and all of that. And you're going to be pretty amazed. And I'm going to share all of that at the end. But people primarily share content because they find it interesting. And also people share content because they think it's going to be helpful to the other recipients or their primary audience. Sometimes they share content to get a laugh. Sometimes they do it because it generates thoughtful ideas or discussions. Sometimes they promote content because they want to promote their beliefs. And other times they share content because they want people to get to know who they are. But pay close attention to the fact that people share content because they find it entertaining and interesting, because that's really what you want to do with your content. You want to make sure that it's high value, it's interesting, it's a little bit entertaining, but definitely that it's helpful to your ideal audience. So what can content marketing do for your business? It can attract your ideal customers or clients. It can convert website traffic into leads or sales. But most importantly, it can establish you as an authority and a leader in your particular field. But for the most part, hi Sue, how you doing?
Oh no, you're not looking at me, are you?
No.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
I have on a face mask.
Oh, no, your video is not showing. But did you have a question? Yeah, did you have a question? Because I saw you were raising your hand.
Oh no, there was a pop-up that said that you wanted me to unmute.
Okay, and that's because, you know, on my end, it looked like you were raising your hand. So I basically wanted to get your question out of the way if you had one. But I'm going to go ahead and mute you out again, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. All right. But most importantly, for this particular reference, as it relates to content marketing, we really want to focus on converting website traffic into leads and sales. We want to attract our ideal customers and clients, and we want to convert them into leads and sales, because you know what, at the end of the day, it takes a lot of effort to put together good content. And therefore, you want to make sure that it means something and that it does something for you, and that it helps to increase your bottom line. Otherwise, you're going to feel like most people end up feeling when they're just posting and posting and posting on social media and nothing's happening. They feel like, you know, I'm exhausted, basically. You know, they feel like I'm doing all this work and I'm not getting any benefit from it. So basically what you want to do is you want to align your content with your business goals and objectives, first and foremost, because if you're just posting and posting and posting and pushing stuff out there, but you don't have a real plan or methodology behind it, like I said before, you're going to feel like you're just spinning your wheels and that you're doing a lot of work, but it's not resulting in anything. So you want to take some time to align any content that you create or anything that you do as it relates to marketing with your objectives and your goals. Now, objectives and goals are a little bit different, and I want to kind of talk about it a little bit here. And I've created actually, and you'll see, this is the next page, I've created some worksheets that I'm going to send out to everybody after the webinar, and these worksheets pretty much will help you to align your objectives and your goals. And it'll help you get clear so that you can know why you're creating your content and what is the purpose of it. So objectives are big items and they're very generic. They're a little bit different from goals, because goals drill down from your objectives, and goals drill down even more so into tasks that you can set a timeline for so that you can complete it in a reasonable amount of time, and then you can measure the results, right? So you know about creating SMART goals. They have to be specific, measurable, they have to be achievable, they have to be relevant and within a certain time frame. So let's start with objective. Your main objective might be lead generation. You just want to generate some leads. Some of your goals could be, okay, in order for me to generate leads, well, you may not even have a website. So first you might want to create a website. And you will need a lead capture page, some way for you to capture an email and a name and a phone number if you choose. And you're going to have to give away something as a lead magnet. So a goal may be to create an ebook or some type of checklist or white paper, or it could be a video training that's maybe an hour or 20 minutes long that you want to give away to someone, and you may gate it. So they may have to enter their name and email address in order to get access to the video training. It could be a webinar like this one that you can generate leads from, because everybody who signs up for the webinar will be a lead, and you will have that, and you could put that in your email marketing software. It could be a teleseminar that you get people to register for, and everybody who registers becomes a lead. It could be creating a podcast where you're directing people from your podcast to go to your website to download something, and then they convert into leads. It could be newsletters where you have somebody sign up for your newsletter, and in exchange for giving you their name and email address, that's generating a lead. It could be a free report. So the goal would be to create these things. But in order to create a lead capture page or an ebook or a checklist, there's several other tasks that you're going to have to do to make that goal, to accomplish that goal. So therefore, the worksheets on the next page that I am going to email to all of you after this webinar, the worksheets will allow you to break down that objective into goals with a due date. And then when you break it down even further, you'll see here on one of the other worksheets, if your objective is to add 1,000 new followers on Instagram, your goal, one of your goals may be to optimize your Instagram profile. But some of the things that you're going to have to do in order to do that will be to maybe add Linktree to your profile so that you can have all of your giveaways, your websites, your key social media links in one so that people can contact you. Also, you may want to make sure that your username reflects who you are. You also may want to make sure that it's your name and it reflects what you do. Your profile really is clear and reflects what you do. And also you want to convert your Instagram to a business account so you can get insights. Then you want to add your contact info and use relevant emojis. And then you want to set some due dates for that. And then what you want to do is make sure that it's measurable, right? So once the task is complete, how you know that it's working is you're starting to see more traffic come from Instagram. So another way to align your objectives with your goals, you may want to drive more sales. And so you may have to create a sales page or a video sales letter or product demonstrations, or you may have to create a sales funnel or product photos or coupons and all of this stuff. And all of this stuff, really and truly, you know, is content, right? Lead capture pages, ebooks, checklists, white papers, video training, webinars, teleseminars, podcasts, newsletters, free reports, downloadable guides, all of this stuff, blog posts, polls, trivia questions, fill in the blank statements, all of this is content. And like I said, you want to make sure that all of your content aligns with your objectives. And you'll get these worksheets that I will send after the webinar that will help you to align your goals and objectives and your content right? So you want to make sure that your content is in alignment with what it is you're looking to accomplish, right? So everybody should have some big goals that they're looking to accomplish for 2019. And you just want to make sure that you start with your big goals and then you break it down so that you're developing your content in a way that's going to lead to your bottom line getting bigger. So when it comes down to content creation, there are 4 pillars of content marketing, and that's planning the content, creating the content, distributing the content, and measuring the content. Now, when it comes down to planning, I have to say that you want to spend 50% of your time planning, 25% of your time creating, 5% of your time on the distribution, and 10% of the time on measuring. Now, why is it that way? Because you really want to take some time to dig deep when you're measuring your content, because you want to make sure that what's not working, you get rid of it right away so that you can make assessments and adjustments. You only want to spend a little bit of your time on distribution, because distribution could be pretty easy. You can distribute it in a variety of different ways. And 25% on creation, because at the end of the day, once you plan out your content, you might want to outsource some of the creation part of it. But you need to spend 50% of your time on the planning. And here's why. Because planning is absolutely key. And once I started drilling down into my Google Analytics, I can absolutely tell you guys, when I found out that there was this one page on my website that was responsible for most of the traffic, and it was a page that I absolutely wasn't paying attention to. And like I said, it was all about continuous learning is the key to success. I had this one young girl actually call me from Michigan, and she said, you know, that's my school's motto, that continuous learning is the key to success, and I'm working on a project, and I found you on the internet. How did she find me? Because when she entered her school's motto, my website came up and my page came up as number 1. And it was funny, even after she had done that and contacted me, I still was not paying attention. It wasn't until I drilled down into my Google Analytics did I realize that it was this one long tail organic keyword that was driving most of the traffic to my site. And that's when it really all kind of, the light bulb went off. It all kind of came together for me. I really began to clearly understand that if I took some time to plan, and if I took some time to align my planning with my goals, that I could turn this thing around and I can actually earn revenue. So for example, once I realized that that page was the number 1 page on my site, one of the things I did was I made sure that I went to Google AdSense, and I made sure that I had native ads throughout the article. I made sure that they were ads along the side of the article so that it could generate income, right? Since people were coming to it organically through the search anyway. But when you take time to plan, these are some of the things that you want to ask yourself. What type of content are you going to create? Who are you creating the content for? What is the purpose of the content? What's your end goal? Do you want to generate a lead? Do you want sales? Are you creating the content for fun? Is it just a FYI? Are you planning to teach something, show off your expertise? Why are you creating it? And this is really what's important. What keywords are you going to target? Is it a low competition keyword? And can you rank on search engines, right? Now let me tell you, there's a tool that you can use. The tool is called Keywords Everywhere. Keywords Everywhere is a free tool that you can download onto Google Chrome. And when you have Keywords Everywhere on your computer, what's going to happen is every time you search a key term, every time you enter a search in the Google search bar, Keywords Everywhere is going to give you information regarding how many people look up that search term and what is the competition if you wanted to buy an ad on Google for it. And it's going to let you know whether or not this is something that you should really build your content around. Now, I want to skip ahead because I want to show you what I'm talking about, right? Well, I guess I didn't have to skip ahead that far. I put the slides in the right order. So here's an example. One of the websites that I have is all about network marketing because I had a lot of success in network marketing, and I have a website called the Network Marketing Training Center. What I was telling you before is that Keywords Everywhere is a free tool, guys. You can add it to Google Chrome. So if you're using Chrome as your web browser, all you have to do is do a search for Keywords Everywhere. And then once you get to the website, you'll download it. And every time you enter a keyword into the search, it's going to give you this information right here. So basically it's telling me 390 people a month search for network marketing team names. People are paying $1.47 for a click. So if I were to go to Google AdWords and place an ad on this particular keyword term, I would have to pay $1.47 per click. So CPC stands for cost per click. So it's $1.47, and I'm going a little bit slow, and I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit slow because I really want you guys to understand. And one of the things that I pride myself on doing is breaking down some of the complicated terms into layman's language so everybody can understand. So CPC is cost per click. And then this is the competition, 0.1. So it's relatively low. Now, let me tell you, if you're using Keywords Everywhere as your tool as it relates to finding keywords that you're going to use for your content, right, that you're going to create. So say, for instance, if you want to create an article, this is a good one. You want to make sure that the search volume is under 1,000, right? Under 1,000 and over 50. But sometimes it doesn't have to be over 50. Sometimes it could be, sometimes it can show 0 per month. But even if it shows 0 per month, that doesn't necessarily mean that people aren't searching for that term, because believe it or not, one of the keywords that I was #1 for was showing 0, but actually people are searching for that particular term. Now let me tell you this when it comes down to keyword research and developing content. When you use Keywords Everywhere and you're using Google, what Keywords Everywhere is going to show you the search volume, how many people are searching. It's going to show you the cost per click, because this is all about paid traffic, right? So Google is showing you, okay, if you want to run an ad on this particular key term, this is how much you're going to have to pay. But remember, guys, Google is not the only search engine. There's also Bing, and there's also other search engines out there. I believe Yahoo is still out there. But Bing has really gotten a lot of market share, and Bing is one of those search engines that we often overlook. So when you're getting this information from Keywords Everywhere, it's not taking into account other search engines. Now let me tell you what else are search engines. when you get traffic from LinkedIn, you know, sometimes people search on LinkedIn, sometimes people search on Pinterest, sometimes people search on YouTube. You know, all of that stuff is not taken into account. These are Google searches right here. So even if it says 0 from a Google perspective, it may not be 0 from a Bing perspective. So that's really interesting. So when I first started out with this particular keyword, what I did was I had done the keyword research, and I saw that network marketing team names was a good keyword that I should search for, or that I should try to compete with. And I created an article, and I called the article Network Marketing Team Names That Rock. And when I first put it out there, it was on page 2 of Google. And then within 30 days, and I want you guys to keep in mind that this really happened between October, November, December, and I had my boot camp on October 20th. And I really didn't start gearing up and just, you know, creating a lot of articles and a lot of content based upon, you know, really doing the research, really taking my time and really planning until after the boot camp. So once the boot camp was over, I was just like, this is great. You know, now I can spend some time really doing, you know, the things that I love to do, which is write. So I've been blogging a lot, and I've been utilizing Pinterest as one of my distribution strategies, and I've been using low competition keywords, and it's really been working very good for my business. And basically with every piece of content that I create, I always make sure I have a call to action or a way to generate a lead or a pop-up. So at some point, people will find me, and at some point, they'll enter their name and email address, and I'll generate leads that I can eventually, at some point, convert into a sale, because it doesn't always happen automatically. A lot of people like to lead you to believe that, you know, I create that content, I put it out there, and bam, I made $50,000. It doesn't always happen like that. There's a process for all of these conversions that take place, you know, online and offline. It's a process, and it happens over time. And oftentimes you have to show yourself approved, and you have to get people to know, like, and trust you before they will enter their name and email, and before they'll pull out their credit card and spend money with you. So it's a process. But like I said, when I first started with this, I was on page 2. And then after about 30 days, I ended up on page 1. And then what ended up happening was, this is the date I created the article, but this wasn't the date I did the search. But I went from page 2 to page 1, and I don't have the number 1 spot, but I have the number 2 spot. But then what's even more powerful than that was, if you look at images, right? So one of the things that I have been doing is, when I create my content, which primarily, because I like to write, is blogging, I will also create an image, right, that also has the keyword in the image. And if you search network marketing team names images, my image is number 1. And so, you know, that's why planning should be 50% of your time, because you want to create content with a specific purpose. And that purpose needs to be tied into your business goals, so that you are generating leads that you could later convert into sales. And, you know, we'll get more into that. But this is what I was talking to you guys about earlier, and I wanted to show you this piece of content that I wrote on my personal blog. And the crazy part about this content, I changed the date to March 6, 2018. But this article was so old. I think this article, I had written it back in either 2016 or 2014. And because it was so old, I decided to change the date of it. And I actually, I added more to the article. I made it a little bit longer and I monetized it because I realized that this was number one. But like I was telling you before, now under keywords everywhere, it says nobody's coming to it. It says that, you know, nobody's competing for this particular long tail keyword. But actually, even though it's saying it has 0 search volume, believe it or not, it was my highest traffic page on my website. So sometimes this could be misleading. And sometimes when you see that it's 0 search volume and 0 competition, and the cost per click is like nothing, that's really opportunity for you. And I just wanted to show you this so that you can see that sometimes when it says 0, that's opportunity. So you don't want to look for terms that are like this, that have, you know, 49,500 search volume, and it probably have millions and millions of search results. You want to go for something and create your content around terms that are related to your business, but terms and phrases that people use when they're really, really looking for something and they're ready to take action. And most of the time when people are really ready to take action and they look for phrases, they do a search for more than just 2 words. So like, for example, it's a new year. When people are looking to lose weight, they're not looking for weight loss on Google. They type, I want to lose weight this year. That's what they're looking for. Like people that are really ready to go to the next level or to take that next step where they're ready to buy. People who buy search for terms that are longer than just 2 words, that are longer than just 1 word. They search for phrases. So when you are creating your content, think about what you look for when you're doing your searches. Because at the end of the day, most people, and I kid you not, most people have websites that don't get a lot of traffic. And most people that are making a lot of money online and have websites that are not getting a lot of traffic, they're doing it because they're well known, they're very popular, they have a following already. And that's how, so say for instance, Tony Robbins' website gets a lot of traffic, but that's because it's Tony Robbins. He's well known, he's been on TV and things like that. So if you are really trying to find your tribe and you're an unknown, the best way that you can do it is to target low competition keywords and get that organic traffic to your website, because that's how people stumble upon you and they find you and then they begin to know, like, and trust you. So this is, like I said earlier, this was the page, why continuous learning is the key to success. And this is the image that pops up. And sometimes when I do this search, I mean, you know how sometimes you see the little box on Google where they have your content and it's in a frame and everything. Sometimes when I do a search for this, it's really like tricked out. So I see why I get a lot of traffic to that. So then after you plan, which is going to take most of your time, that's when you need to create, right? So the planning is truly key, and it takes a lot of time. So when you're creating content, you want to think of things that, I like to say this, and I mean, and you know, I don't know, I'm just going to put this out there for you guys, and you think about it. Because one of the things that I found with most entrepreneurs, myself included, is that we could be all over the place. And we don't take the time to drill down to that one thing that we are popular for. So when you think of Tony Robbins, the first thing that comes to your mind probably is motivation. When you think of somebody, I don't know if you know Lisa Sasafich, the first thing you probably think about is speaking from the stage or how to speak to sell. When you think of somebody like Cardi B, who's a rapper, you think, okay, she's a rapper, she's a popular rapper. When you think of Nicki Minaj, same thing. When you think of somebody like Les Brown, you think motivation. When you think of somebody like Allie Brown, you probably think of, helping female entrepreneurs. The same thing with Marie Folio. When you think about Amy Porterfield, you think about selling through webinars. So I said that because what you have to think about as it relates to content creation for this year, I want you to think about that one thing that you want to be known for, right? That one thing. And when you create content for this particular year, I want you to think about creating something called your big rock content. And that's, think of creating that one thing that once you put it together, that you could break it up into pieces and you can promote it all year long, right? So, for example, I have my, kind of bedrock content, which is my 50 ways to market and promote your business on social media. But I can break down that one big rock piece of content into the different platforms that I talk about. I talk about Instagram, I talk about Facebook, I talk about Twitter, I talked about LinkedIn, and I talk about Snapchat. And I can create pillar content all around that, but it's all tied into that one, pillar content. So think about the one thing that you could create where you can kind of break off other pieces of content. And, I don't know if you've ever done mind mapping before, and, you can create a piece of content here, a piece of content there, a piece of content there. But at the end of the day, it all flows back to that one big thing, right? And let me just put it in another way. If you are in a network marketing company and the network marketing company is a weight loss company, well, you can create a myriad of different pieces of content that all flows back into your weight loss company. You could create, weight loss tips for women over 50. You could create when is the best time to exercise. You can create what is proper meal planning. I mean, you can think of 5 basic subcategories and create a myriad of content. But even though you have the 5 basic subcategories, you have that one main thing. And then all of your other content feeds into that one main thing. And that's how I want you to think about your content, so that everything that you're pushing out is really flowing to your core money maker, your core thing that makes you money, right? So when you think about your content creation, think about it from that way. And you could create podcasts, articles, videos. You can also get some people from Fiverr to create some of your content for you. And you can push all of your content out to social media. But when it comes down to it, like I said before, think of that one big rock piece of content. And like I said, mine for me was like 50 ways to promote your business on social media. But yet content marketing is a part of that, right? I could talk about Facebook all day long. I could talk about Instagram all day long. So I could create multiple pieces of content that all flows back to that one thing, that all flows into this main course that I'm working on and we'll be relaunching soon, called Lead Generation 101, because all of this is about generating that lead so you can convert that lead later on into a sale. So like I said before, this whole concept of your big rock content came to this guy, from this guy, Jason Miller, who's, he works for LinkedIn. And he says that that big rock content is that big piece of content where you own the conversation as it relates to that content. And that, you know, nobody else can touch you when it comes down to that. Because at the end of the day, what you're really trying to do, like I said, is you're getting people to know, like, and trust you, because you need to be trusted. You need to be heard. Your content needs to be talked about. It needs to matter. And, you know, you want people to look at you and your business. So you want that one big piece of content that you can just keep breaking down, keep breaking down, keep breaking down, but it all focuses. And then when it focuses on that core, then it's really aligned with your business. It really goes back to what we said before as it relates to aligning all your content creation with your business goals and your objectives, because that's what you want to do at the end of the day. Then you want to distribute it, right? And the distributing part is only 5% because it's really easy. Once the content is created, you can distribute it over social media, you can distribute it via email, and you can use tools like Hootsuite or Post Planner. And I am using now Tailwind for Pinterest and Instagram. And then there are also some other distribution methods that are paid, and I'm going to talk about Taboola for content marketing. Because have you ever noticed, if you went to like a website like Huffington Post, and when you go to the Huffington Post, or you go to sometimes some of these news sites or a gossip blog, and then you see a whole bunch of articles that seem to be, it's supposed to be targeted to whatever it is you're reading, but it's a whole bunch of articles that look like really random. And it's really other people's content, and it could be videos, it could be other articles from other websites. If you click on it, it'll go to that particular website and that particular article, and it'll take you away from the site that you're on. But that's another way that you can distribute content, and Taboola is one of those companies, and I'm going to talk about some other companies where you can pay to distribute your content on other platforms. And Google has the same thing with display advertising, where you can get your content displayed on other people's websites. So just like you get paid when people click on ads on your website, you can actually do the exact same thing and get display ads on other people's websites. So the distribution part, once you have it figured out, it's pretty easy. I've been using Tailwind and Pinterest, and it's been working pretty well. And then you can measure it, because if something is not working, then you want to make an assessment and an adjustment. You know, if the content is not working, if you know, if you're paying for the advertising and it's not working, you want to make an adjustment very quickly. Okay. So here are some of the other paid distribution platforms. Now, you can use Hootsuite, and there are a whole bunch of other platforms that you can use to push out content on social media. But this is a way that you can distribute your content in a paid fashion. So for example, on Facebook, I have a page for the Network for Women in Business, and it has, I think, about 43,000 followers. Now, if I want to get my content, if I create a blog post and I wanted to reach more people, all I have to do is put that particular blog post link on my Facebook page and boost it, and then more people will see it. But what I will want to make sure is that if I am going to boost that content and it's just an article, I want to make sure that within the article, I either have ads so that I can at least get some ad revenue for it, or I have a distinct call to action. Because you've heard of sponsored articles, right? Where sometimes you can open up a newspaper and you'll see this whole article about dentistry or about your child is going back to school and now is the perfect time to get a great eye exam. Studies have shown that a lot of kids are failing in school because they can't really see the material on the board. So you should come in and get an eye exam and come into Cohen's Eyewear and get your eye exam before school starts in the fall. That is a sponsored story. So for example, you can put your article on Facebook and boost it, but you want to make sure that the article leads the person that's reading it somewhere, right? So I may say, networking is the best thing that you can do for your business, right? And then I'll go on Facebook and boost it. But I'm going to make sure that the article, while it's about networking, I may, want to lead them to an upcoming networking event that I'm having, or I may want to lead them to the Network for Women in Business so that they can get started and that they can join. But if you're going to pay for it, you're going to make sure that it works, and you're going to make sure that at least what you are spending, you can cover it in revenue. So therefore, if you're going to venture into one of these particular ways of, distributing your content on these different platforms, Taboola is one, Outbrain is one, Oath is another one by Verizon. And this one is one that you might want to look into, because at the end of the day, all of these platforms, I can promise you, if you do a deep dive into your Google Analytics, one of the things that you're going to see is that most people are seeing your content on phones, on smartphones. And therefore, you want to make sure that your website converts very well on mobile, because most people are viewing content today on mobile. I mean, it's like really crazy how much people are really using their phones. But Oath by Verizon, and it's, I'm not surprised that Verizon got into this market because of the fact that so many people are using their smartphones. That's just like a really smart move for Verizon. But there's LinkedIn, there's Twitter, you can do sponsored tweets. And there's also this other company here that you can use. And when I send you guys the email for the worksheets, I'm going to send you guys the PowerPoint as well, so you can have that and you can have this to review. But these are the 4 pillars of content creation and marketing. You want to make sure that you spend the most time on planning, because at the end of the day, guys, it's just tough when you're just putting stuff out there and it's not on purpose, it's not for a specific reason, there's no goal attached to it, or there's no objective attached to it. So you want to spend 50% of your time planning out the content, then 25% creating the content. And like I said, if you don't have time to create content, you can actually pay somebody to create content. You can pay somebody to get articles created. You can pay somebody to create banners for you. And if you're not using Canva, use Canva, because canva.com, canva.com, it makes all of your banners look amazing. And I mean, it makes the average person look like a professional designer. Even when it comes down to ebooks, you can buy ebooks. So don't think that you have to take up all of this time creating a lot of this stuff. If you don't have the time to do it, buy it. And then what you do is, if you buy an ebook, you're looking for stuff with private label rights, okay? You're looking for, Chantel said that she's watching this on mobile, and Sue says she loves Canva. That's so good. Thank you guys for sharing that. Thank you for being so glued in. I really appreciate that. But You can buy ebooks, you can buy reports, you can buy checklists, and all you have to do is Google PLR, which stands for private label rights. And you can buy a myriad of content. And what I like to do when I buy content from places like that is I like to take the content and Sue says she's watching on mobile too. That's so cool, guys. I like to take the content and change it so that it sounds like me. And a lot of times you can find some really good stuff out there and it's really cheap. And also you can go to places like Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and you can have somebody create it for you, and you can tell them specifically what you want. And a lot of times it's hit or miss because the writers, they're not the best, but you can also go to 123 Employee, and you might be able to post something there and find somebody that can do something that's better for you. Or you can, or you can go to Upwork, or you can go to guru.com. Those are the sites that I use. I use Fiverr, I use Upwork, and I use guru.com. And they work really well for me. So if you don't have a lot of time, outsource it. Then distribute it and just push it out via your email list, push it out via social media. And, test advertising. You can spend $5 or $10 to boost a post. And when you boost a post, you'll find that your audience, can you spell the last one? All right, Sherry. It's Sherry or Cherie or Sheree. I don't know. But I don't know which last one you're talking about. Let me just say them all over again. I said Upwork. Upwork is UPWORK. I spoke about Canva, which is CANVA. Guru is GURU.com. And then there's 123 Employee. You can check them out, 123employee.com. And then there's Fiverr, FIVERR.com. So, yeah, guru.com. That's it. That's the one. You have it right, Sherry. All right. And like I said, if you don't have a lot of time, then you definitely want to go ahead and outsource that. You can even outsource the distribution of it, because if you hire a good virtual assistant, that virtual assistant could do all of that for you. And you can use boards like Trello. And once you have the person to create the content for you and you approve it, you could put it on a Trello board, and then you can have your VA go in and distribute it for you. They can send out your emails, they can send out your social media, and then you can have somebody put together some spreadsheets to give you the measurement, how well did it engage, how many people viewed, your videos, or how many people shared your content, or how many leads did you get from your content, and, was it worth it? So you can outsource all of those things. Sue Glenn says she used Buffer. And she says, yeah, Buffer is really good too. Buffer is good for you to push out content to your social media website. So there's a whole bunch of them, and you just have to find the ones that really and truly work for you. And you will be a content planning, creating, and distributing and measuring genius. And you will find that your business is really growing. Now, let me tell you what I've recently done. So remember I told you guys that after the other thing I did in September, by the time I went to WordCamp, yeah, I think that weekend that I went to WordCamp, September 15th and 16th, I actually had started the keto diet. And I really started, losing weight. I've lost almost 20 pounds using keto. And in November, I created the everythingketodiet.com website, right? So this is the website that I created, and it's here on WordPress. And what I did was, once I created the website, I went and I created a Pinterest page for it, and I've been using Pinterest. And all of this I did in November, so this is like 2 months ago. And already, since I started blogging on the site, creating the graphics, posting it on Pinterest, and now you see I have about 25,000 monthly views. That doesn't always equate to the direct traffic, but I've been getting most of my traffic from Pinterest, but also I've been getting a lot of organic traffic because I've been using the keyword strategy that I was telling you guys about earlier. So basically, I went on there tonight, and as you can see, in the past 7 days, or in the past couple of days, I've had 194 people to visit the site. It's up 200 and something percent. It's just going up and up and up, and it's been really crazy. I've gotten a lot of organic traffic from Bing. I've got most of my traffic, I think, from Bing, but most of it has really been from Pinterest. And I've been taking the time to do the keyword research. I use this tool. It's called SEM Rush. SEM Rush, you can go there, semrush.com. And you can do a 14-day trial. You can do all of your keyword research. If you know what keywords you want to target, if you know what you want to look for, you could do it all in 2 weeks, all of your research, get all of your keywords, your low competition keywords that you want to search for. I'm going to do actually a webinar just on SEM Rush because it's such an amazing tool. And you can begin to create your articles and your content on your keywords. Now, this is something I just put together, and I actually created a 7-day keto challenge because one of my friends told me, she said, you should do a challenge. And I did a 7-day keto challenge, and I've been getting a lot of visitors and quite a few people who have signed up for the challenge. And this is in 2 months. I was able to grow this Pinterest channel from nothing to 25,000 views a month. I've been getting crazy traffic on the website. Now, when you use Google Analytics, what it'll do, it'll tell you who's on the website right now, and these are the top pages that people have been going to. Now, this particular page these are pages that I actually did the research, and I found that they were not low competition keywords. One of them is popcorn allowed on a keto diet? So remember what I said is that when people are really looking for something, people don't search popcorn and keto. They don't do that. They search exactly what they want. It's almost like, how you have Alexa and you say, Alexa, what's the weather going to be like today? That's how people search. So you have to think in terms of how you ask questions. That's exactly how they're entering them into Google. And that's how you want to create your content, just the way people are asking the questions, just the way people are using the long tail keywords. And when you create your content could be a picture, it could be a video, but if it's a picture, you want to save the picture as the keyword. That's how the image comes up on the search. If it's an article, you want to make sure that you have the keyword in the title. You want to make sure you have the keyword in the subtitles. You want to have the keyword mentioned several times in the article. So there's a whole process. I use a plugin called SEO by Yoast on my WordPress platform, and that helps me to make sure that my articles are optimized. So what Yoast does is it'll give you a green light if the content is good and it has great readability, and it'll give you a green light if the keyword that you're looking to target has been used properly throughout the article. So I use those two, but this is a hot niche. Keto is a hot niche, and it's been working really, really well. Also, I did the same thing for my other Pinterest account, which was a Tony Coleman-Brown Pinterest account for my other websites. My other websites, I like to talk about marketing. I like to talk about email marketing, network marketing, content marketing. I do my podcast. So for my podcast episodes, you can see right here, I'll do a pin about my podcast episodes. If I have a YouTube video, like this one right here is a YouTube video, I'll do a pin about that. I have an article about attraction marketing for network marketing. So everything else, I use this particular Pinterest account to drive traffic to my other websites, because really and truly, when it comes down to it, when it comes down to marketing, network marketing, a lot of the things it could be used, my content could be used on any one of my websites. So basically, I decide which website that I want to drive traffic to, and I create the content to be able to do that. But when I first started on Pinterest, I did not have any monthly views. It was like 0. Now it's almost up to 40,000. So my goal is to get the views up high, because the views equate to traffic at some point. Because some people view the pins and then some people click on the pins, okay? And so basically what you want is to create the right content so that people will click on your pins. And Tailwind is what I use as the tool for Pinterest, because Tailwind has something called tribes. And the way the tribes work is, when you join a tribe, say a tribe could be about blogging, and you could blog about any niche. But the way the tribe works is, for every pin you post in a tribe, you have to repin a pin from the tribe. So when you post your pin in the tribe, there's a high probability that it's going to have a reshare. And so the more reshares that you get, the more reach your pins will have, and the more possibilities for you to have more views and more people to go to your website. So this has just been working really well for me, and I encourage you, if you haven't utilized Pinterest as a part of your strategy, then you definitely want to incorporate it. The one thing that I like about Pinterest that I can say that's different from Facebook, because people are like, oh, Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, Instagram. But one of the things I like about Pinterest and YouTube is that people go to Pinterest to search for stuff. And I really like that, because Pinterest also serves as a search engine. What I also like about Pinterest is the fact that, and look, and I'm telling you guys, this is a big nugget right here, because when you post on Facebook and Instagram, it lasts this long. And a lot of people don't see it. So a lot of your content is missed on Facebook and Instagram. And Snapchat is even worse, right? Because it doesn't last long at all on Snapchat. But when you post on Pinterest and YouTube, because these two websites also act like a search engine, so people literally go and they search stuff. You know, they search keto recipes. They go to YouTube and they search email marketing or attraction marketing and things like that. And if your pins and if your YouTube videos are optimized for the keywords, and I use a tool called TubeBuddy for YouTube, because that gives me the 411 on what keywords I should go after on YouTube. And I'll do another video about that, because that's another long, drawn out thing. But because Pinterest and YouTube are search engines, your content is almost sitting there like a good rerun on TV. And basically what happens is, when people search for it, it keeps popping up. And the reason why I said that when it comes down to your content, you want to plan, because think about the lesson that I learned. I had spent a good bit of money on driving traffic from Facebook to my page, 50 ways to market and promote your business on social media, right? I spent no money on getting people to why continuous learning is the key to success. And that page gave me organic traffic that keeps on coming. The paid traffic is hit it and forget it. Once it's done, it's like one and done. And think about it from a long-term strategy, guys. It's almost like when you get residuals, right? Like, when you get residuals from, say, for instance, you create a record and the record just keeps selling. Years and years and years later, people still buying the record. That's what happens when you post on Pinterest and you post on YouTube. I promise you, if you go to YouTube right now and you did a search, the video that's going to pop up, number one, is about 2 or 3 years old, right? And that video is probably making the person who created it money over and over and over again, organically, on autopilot. That's why the 4 pillars of, I'm going to go back, the 4 pillars of content marketing is so important. It's important to plan, spend most of your time planning, the other portion creating, 5% distributing, and 10% measuring, because the measuring is important. Because if something is not working, you want to fix it right away, right? So I hope that this was clear for you guys. I hope that I don't have anything to sell tonight. I'm not trying to get in your pocket. Some of the things that I'm doing is I'm rebranding, with these new colors for my podcast, my website. And I didn't talk about who I am, but I created the Network for Women in Business. I also have this online marketing mastermind, which is a 2-day class where I really work with you hands-on and get into your website and help you fix it. I also help you build your capture pages. I show you how to do it. I'm having my next mastermind in New York on the 19th and 20th of this month. It's already sold out. I have enough people. I keep it small because I can't work with a lot of people at one time as it relates to that. I used to work with Black Expressions Book Club back in the day. I was featured in Black Enterprise, and this was empowering women back from my network marketing days. These are just 4 of the 7 books that I've been a part of and created, and I've traveled and all of this stuff, won free trips when I was in network marketing. I was featured on Pix 11, and that's who I am for those of you who don't know me. But this is what I love to do. I love to train. I love to teach. My big goal for the next 20, 30 years is to positively impact 1 billion people worldwide. I know that I've already impacted hundreds of thousands of people through my platform. I mean, when you have 42,000, 43,000 followers and the reach is millions, you're positively impacting people. I've heard from people from all around the world. I even heard from somebody who said they couldn't be here tonight because they're in the UK, and will I send out a replay? And I absolutely will do that. And I've heard from people from the Philippines, from Africa, from all over the world. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. I believe that people are like elevators. You either lift them up or pull them down, but you never leave them the same. And my goal is to always lift people up and to provide them with value. Some of the ways that I am impacting people is through my small business boot camps, and this year I'm going to be hosting mini camps, and some of them are going to be virtual, where I just get online and do some of the training in short pieces versus a whole long day. Maybe like sometimes I might have some little half day mini boot camps here in New York and as well in other places where I do have a following this year. So I'm going to get out and go on the road as well as continue to do these particular types of training events online. And I'm going to be relaunching the Network for Women in Business on March 1st of this year for Women's History Month. And this is my educational platform for entrepreneurs where you can learn how to effectively market and promote your business online. So that's the Network for Women in Business. So that's really it, guys. That's really all that I have. And I just want to know if you guys have any questions, anything you want to share. Thank you, Sheree Anderson. This has been awesome and amazing. I learned so much. Thank you for all the valuable info. I appreciate that. And let's see, some Q&A. Are you going to share this recording? This is absolutely excellent. Yes, Giselle, I am. And she was laughing. She said, my Alexa just answered you. That's funny. That's really funny. Yes, Alexa. And that's actually how people search. So I'm going to unmute a few of you. I'm unmuting you, Sheree. You want to say anything? Let's see. You're muted, unmuted. You can unmute. Sue, let me unmute you. If you want to say anything, you absolutely can. I appreciate you guys for listening. We had quite a few people that signed up for the webinar tonight. So when you want to say anything?
This is Cherie. You find so many things, millions of things over the internet, and then you tap into different trainings or webinars, and you sort of halfway in get a little disappointed because you feel like you're not really learning. Mm-hmm. But I'm so glad I accidentally stumbled upon you and found you, because now I've decided I want to do blogging, and I'm 100% clueless, but you're giving such a great overview. I see that I'm in the right place at the right time. So I'm really grateful.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you so much. And yes, blogging is awesome. I love to write. And, I'm a part of several blogging communities. So if you want to talk about that, feel free to shoot me an email. And, I'll tell you of the communities that I'm a part of and how it can help you.
Thanks so much.
No problem. No problem. You want to say, it sounded like you were saying something, Sue.
Oh no, I'm not. Sorry.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's all I have for you tonight. I wanted to really come here and provide you guys with peer value. And I hope you learned a lot. I'm going to be sending out this information via email. And yes, the recording is working, and we got all of this. And I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope that you would spread the word and also stay tuned and register for some of the other free content that I will be offering over the next couple of months, actually over the year, because this year, forget about it. It's all about content, and really pushing it out there and just really getting the word out there and really helping as many people as I possibly can, and also growing along the way. And once the Network for Women in Business opens up, I will hope that all of you will participate, because what I'm going to be doing with the Network for Women in Business is some of the trainings and everything will be exclusive. And a lot of the information is going to be exclusive for those people who decide to join. And the cost of entry is not high at all. And what you're going to get is access to all of this content and a training vault. And imagine the content that I have from the past 6 years. So you're going to have access to some of the best as it relates to that amazing content that I have. And also, if you're looking to set up a blog, I could definitely help you guys with that. Any type of help you need, feel free to definitely reach out, TonyColeman-Brown@gmail.com or Tony@networkforwomeninbusiness.com. and I will definitely respond. So thank you guys for being here tonight. What part of New York I'm in? I'm in Queens, New York. And I do a lot of my events in Manhattan as well as in New Rochelle. You're from upstate. Cool, cool. So maybe one day you'll come downstate for one of my live events, either the boot camp or one of my online marketing mastermind live events. You would enjoy it. All right. You guys take care. Once again, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being so engaging. And, you know, look for my email to come soon with all of the worksheets, as well as the PowerPoint, as well as the recording. Take care and have a blessed night, guys. Good night.